Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about distance and displacement. So let's talk about the definitions of both of them first. Distance is defined as length of the path traveled by the object. And displacement it is the shortest length between two given points in a straight line. Alright, one more thing, distance need not to have any direction, so it's a scalar quantity, and displacement has a particular direction, so it is a vector quantity. Distance and displacement both are lengths only, so their units are SI units are meter and meter. They both have same units as well. The most important difference between both of them is that displacement has direction and magnitude both. Distance has got magnitude and direction both. We can say that distance traveled by a body is 50 meters. Here we can say that displacement between 2 points traveled by an object is 50 meter east. Here we need to specify the direction as well because it's a vector quantity. This is called magnitude. Magnitude is the number. So it has got magnitude, displacement has also got magnitude, but distance do not have direction. Now let us continue our discussion with the help of an example. So here in a given situation we have a square path like this. Points are A, B, C and D. Since this is a square, let us consider the length to be say 2 meter. So all lengths are 2 meter. Suppose a person travels from A, starts the journey from A, goes to point B, then ends its journey at point C. So the person goes from A to B and then from B to C. Then the distance traveled would be equal to the length of the path. That means this plus this. This is also 2 meter. So the distance traveled by the person is the length of the path, that is AB plus BC, so that is 4 meter, right? Okay, now if you want to find out the displacement traveled by the body from A to C, then this is the starting point, this is the finishing point, join them in a straight line. This length is the shortest length of the path traveled by the object. This shortest length between 2 points in a straight line as per our definition is the displacement. So the displacement would be length AC, and we can very well calculate with the help of the Pythagoras theorem. So AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square, and AC square is equal to 2 square plus 2 square. So this is 4 plus 4, so it is 8 meter. So the displacement would be AC, that would be equal to root of 8. You can also simplify and write it down like 2 root 2 meter. So this displacement is 2 root 2 meter. Now, since this is a vector quantity, we also need to mention the direction. So this is 2 root 2 meter. So we have magnitude. Now what should be the direction? So for finding the direction, this is the starting point, this is the finishing point. So make sure that you are drawing north, south, east, west from the starting point. So the person is standing over here. So this would be north, this would be south, this would be east, and this would be west. Remember, you are supposed to draw north, south, east, west from the beginning position, the starting position. And from there you can see that this is northeast. So your answer would be northeast. Let's continue on the another sheet. This was the question that we did earlier. This was point A, B, C and D, and the length of the square path was 2 meter, and we had already calculated the displacement and distance traveled by a person who goes from A to B to finally C. Now let us continue our discussion further, and let us assume that the person goes from A to B to C to D this time, and finally ends the journey at point D. So this is the starting position, this is the finishing position. So the distance would be the length of the path. So the distance would be the sum of all the lengths. So that would be equal to AB plus BC plus CD, and if you add it up, you will get your answer as 2 plus 2 plus 2. So that is 6 meter. It's a scalar quantity, it will not have any direction. Now displacement, that would be the shortest path between the length traveled in a given straight line. So this is point A, starting point, this is the finishing point. So this is the displacement, the shortest distance or the shortest length between the two paths, or sorry, the 2 points, the starting and the finishing point. So that is again 2 meter. Now we are supposed to assign the direction. So as we discussed earlier, that from the starting point you draw north, south, east and west, and now you are supposed to draw an arrow whose tail is at the starting point and whose head is towards the finishing point. So this is the direction of the displacement. So it turns out to be east. That is our answer. Let us slightly move towards some complicated problems, quite difficult than this one. If you start your journey, okay, before beginning to the next part, let us discuss one more point, that if the starting point and the finishing points are same, that means if a person starts from A, goes to B, C, D and again A, then the distance would be 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, that would be 8 meter. But since the person is finishing its journey at the same point, the displacement would be 0. So when the starting point and the finishing point are same, the displacement is 0. It is because the person started from here, now goes like this, 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 and suppose he ends up over here. Then this is the starting point, this is the finishing point, the displacement would be very small. But if the person starts from point A, goes to B, goes to C and reaches very near, then you can see that the displacement becomes even smaller. Now if the person starts from A, goes to B, C and again finishes back at the same point, that means now the displacement would be 0. So make sure that if a person is following any given path, if the starting point and finishing point are same, then the displacement is always 0. Fine. Let us move ahead and draw a circle. Now in this circle, I am dividing the circle into 4 equal parts. This angle is 90 degree. So these all are radii of a given circle. Let us call this as point A, B, C and D. Let's consider the radius to be 7 meter and consider a person who begins his journey from point A. Now he goes from point A in this direction to point B. Suppose he ends his journey over here. Then what is the distance? AB. The arc AB would be the distance. So the distance would be arc. That's a small section of the circle AB. And we can see that this is 1/4 part of the circle, as this angle is 90 degree. So the entire angle is 360 degree. So 90 degree is 1/4 part. So the entire length of the circle A, B, C, D and again back to A is the circumference. So circumference is given by 2 pi r, that is the length of the entire circle, and this is 1/4 because this is 1/4 of the 2 pi r. So let us calculate 1/4 into 2 into pi is 22 by 7 and r is again 7. 7 gets cancelled. So we get answer as 11 meter. So 11 meter is the distance traveled by the person from point A to B. Now if you want to talk about the displacement, then the displacement would be the starting point and the finishing point, and draw a straight line. This would be the displacement. So displacement between A to B is given by a straight line and the direction, but first of all let us calculate this AB straight line length or the displacement. Since this is 7 meter, this is also 7 meter, so by Pythagoras theorem we can easily prove that this is 7√2 meter. Let us do that. So displacement consider this point to be point O, and from Pythagoras theorem we can state that AB square would be equal to AO square plus OB square. Then it would be 7 square plus 7 square. So this is 49 plus 49. So we can also write it like 49 into 2. Now AB would be equal to root of 49 into 2. So this becomes 7√2 meter. So that's our answer. Now if you want to discuss about the direction, this is the starting point. As I told you, draw north, south, west, east. Now we can see that the displacement is along this direction from starting point towards the finishing point. That direction is southeast. So our final answer is southeast, like this. And suppose had it been a person starts its journey from A to B to C, then the distance would be ABC, half of the entire circular path. So for that the distance would be half of the circumference. So circumference is half into 2 into 22 by 7 into 7. If we calculate, we get our answer as 22 meter. Again, no need to write the direction because this is a scalar quantity. Yes, but if you want to calculate the displacement is very easy because this is starting point, this is the finishing point. So the diameter of the circle, that is AC, would be the displacement. So the displacement would be 14 meter, and In which direction? This is the starting point, finishing point, so the person is moving along south. So our answer would be 14 meter south. So the most important thing to learn about this concept is that displacement can be zero, but once the person starts its journey, distance will never be zero. Displacement can be zero as well, but the distance will be never zero.